Hello everyone and welcome to Meera's Tutorials. Today we're going to learn how to write a check in less than 3 minutes. As many of you know, checks are a method of delivering money to other people. Although they are not used as often today, it's extremely important to know how to correctly fill out a check. So today for this tutorial, I'll be writing a check on behalf of my parents to send to Bishop Girton for the AP exams that I'll be taking in May. So I recently got this in the mail, and as you can see, I have 3 AP exams that I'll be taking, and all 3 of them cost a total of $282. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first step to filling out a check is finding a checkbook to use. This is one of the checkbooks that my parents use. There are a lot of checks in here, but I have found one blank check that we can use for today's tutorial. As you can see, there's no information in here, but we'll be using this check and filling it out. But below it, with most checkbooks, there's always this thin filament page right here, which is a lot thinner than the actual check itself. This is known as the duplicate copy. So whenever you're actually writing a check, you usually put pressure on it with a pen, and what happens is it creates a carbon copy when you have this thin filament right here, so the exact information you put on the check comes up on the duplicate copy. So you can use this duplicate copy to make sure you know what checks that you've sent so far, or if you ever want to refer back to it, you can see, oh, I've sent this amount to this person. But always make sure when you're writing a check and you have the duplicate copy that you use this thin paper right here, this plastic, in order to make sure that the pen's pressure and the pen does not bleed into the next check. So as you can see, I have the actual check itself, then we have the filament that's right below it, which is right here, and then you have the plastic. After finding a check to use, the next step is to fill out the check. As you can see here, I have 2 videos going, one of the visual me and one of the camera right here to show exactly what we're going to be filling out in the check. So I want to point out a few parts of the check before we begin. The first part is the area on the top left corner, which has usually the name of the checking account holder and who we will be writing the check on behalf of. I've crossed that out for now. Second is the checking account number, which is put in the bottom left corner. And then third is the number of the check that we'll be writing. So it is check number 2160, and then as you can see, 2160 here. Also on the duplicate copy, it is check 2160. The first part of the check that we'll be filling out is the date, which as you can see is on this line right here with the word date underneath. So we're going to be putting in today's date, which is January 28th, 2019. So 01/28/2019. The next line on the check that we'll be filling out is pay to the order of, which is who exactly we'll be writing this check to. So in my case, I'm going to be writing it to Bishop Girton High School. So I'm going to write on this line, Bishop Girton High School. So the next step is extremely important. This is where you're going to be writing down the amount of money you will be sending. So there are 2 places that you can put down the money that you are sending that must be filled out. The first is this blank line right here, which you're going to be writing out word for word the exact dollar amount that you're going to be sending. And you also have this little box right here. You can faintly see it's outlined with a little dollar sign in front. First, we're going to fill out that box. So I'm going to be sending exactly $282 to Bishop Girton High School. So I'll write that right here, 282.00. Next, I'll be filling out this line where I'll write the payment amount in words. So that is 282. So I'll write that down first. 282. And next we write down the cent amount, which is written as so. So we write down and then we write down in a fraction the amount cent money that we're going to be sending. So in our case, we are not sending any specific cent amount, so we'll be writing 00 out of 100. And you will write it and read it as 282 and $00. So we are writing down $282, which is going to be sent right here, and there is 0 cents, extra cents being paid. The next step is filling out the memo line or the for line on a check. So in the memo or for line, you write exactly why you're sending the check. This is optional, but it is important to always write down exactly what you're writing the check for. So in my case, I'm writing this check for Bishop Girton to pay for the AP exams that I'll be taking in May. So as a memo, I'm just going to make it short and sweet. I'm going to write AP exam payment. The final step for filling out a check is signing the name of the person who owns a check right on this line here. This must be filled out by the person who owns the check. In my case, I do not own this check, so either of my parents would have to sign right on this line. I got my mom to sign the check right here. And so now, just before we tear out the check, I just want to show you guys how the check looks like on the bottom page. For the final step of writing a check and completely filling it out is tearing it out of your checkbook. So as you can see, there's a crease line right here. We're going to be pulling it out very carefully. I went pretty fast right there. Here we have the final check that is ready to be sent. Obviously I can't have this black line right here. This is just for the sake of the tutorial, but when you actually do send out a check, make sure that there is no black lines right here and that you're sending this check completely filled out and correctly filled out. So I hope this video was extremely helpful for any newbies out there who have never written a check, and in the future I hope you know how to correctly write a check. Thanks for watching!